According to the Jewish Business News, Germany donated over $2.8 million to the government of Israel in 2015 to be used in the conservation and restoration of Tel Aviv. But the question is, why would a country such as Germany donate this much of a budget to conserve a site of another state? Well, let us answer this question by exploring what Tel Aviv, aka the White City, is and what it stands for. In 1930s, Tel Aviv, the capital of Israel, was expanding rapidly as a result of the massive wave of immigrants, and the city's population grew up to be 20 times more in less than a decade. As expected, this large rise in city's population concluded in extra needs from the urban planning of the city, demanding more and more residential areas. Therefore, a new explicit master plan was asked for by the municipality, a design that would both satisfy the needs of the incoming population and improve Tel Aviv for good. And to the rescue came one of the most successful names of urban planning at the time, Sir Patrick Geddes. A comprehensive master plan was presented by Sir Patrick, which would later become the foundation of the area. What he designed was a garden city, as he was keen to ensure that green spaces were an integral part of the Tel Aviv landscape. And to this end, under his plan, buildings were restricted to taking up a maximum of only 1/3 of any given site. So these restrictions aim to ensure maximum potential for neighborhoods well surrounded with lush greenery. On the other hand, he also founded a strategy that is responsible for the development of a distinct building style in the area, in this case, Bauhaus. And thus, Tel Aviv has managed to resist any kind of anti-urban propositions throughout its lifetime.
So, as the structure of the whole city was changing, lots of new buildings were being constructed where more and more immigrants were entering Tel Aviv, increasing the population day by day. And most of these immigrants were in fact Jewish families running from Nazis' rule over Europe, hoping to flee persecution.
And this particular immigration forms the roots of the architecture in the White City. Because among those Jews who immigrated to Tel Aviv, there were many Jewish architects as well, who got their education in German universities, mastering their skills and understanding on the German Bauhaus architecture. Therefore, they influenced the current construction in the city, resulting in the birth of Bauhaus style in the new buildings of Tel Aviv. In case you don't know, the term Bauhaus comes from the German art school called Staatliches Bauhaus, which operated from the end of World War I until the rise of Hitler.
The school became famous for its approach to design, which attempted to unify the principles of mass production with individual artistic vision and strove to combine aesthetic with everyday function. Some of the characteristics of Bauhaus architecture can be straightforward simplicity with smooth facades.
Wow! No use of decoration unless useful.
Wow! Streamlined aesthetics.
Wow!
Uniquely formed large balconies.
Wow! As a consequence, a mainstream center of Bauhaus architecture was born in Israel, Tel Aviv. The massive heritage value of the White City was renowned for years, and in 2004, UNESCO declared the White City of Tel Aviv a World Heritage Site. So this means that the area has an undeniable historical and architectural value, not only for the citizens of Israel, but for the whole world. Therefore, an explicit conservation and maintenance of the buildings was mandatory. And this, my friends, brings us to the fundamentals of restoration on the White City.
Liebling House sits on a tranquil side street of the main drag in central Tel Aviv. Positively gleaming, it ticks every box for someone on the Bauhaus tour of discovery. This massive Israeli architect, Dov Karmi's 1936 international-style building needed to have a renovation of the facade.
And this restoration took place under the Open for Renovation project. Well, what is this project? Open for Renovation is an experimental cooperative initiative where mixed teams of trainees from Germany, ranging from plasterers as well as painters, joined forces to work with Israeli craftspeople and students. The goal was to perform a full renovation and conversion of the former Max Liebling house, turning it into the future White City Center. As of now, the building remains as one of the most well-known Bauhaus works of Tel Aviv, and will officially be given its new role as a German-Israeli documentation, exchange and competence center, where building owners can get advice on how they can renovate their own Bauhaus in accordance with laws for listed buildings.
Originally built in 1934 as a commercial office space known as the Politecnico House, nowadays the building is a boutique hotel that has been restored to its former glory and transformed into a symbol of Tel Aviv's renaissance as an artistic, culinary and cultural hub. The hotel's inimitable design and vital public spaces, rooms, rooftop bar, pool and lobby spaces are a reflection of hotel and city's permanent image.
Initially named the Grovich House, the Levy House was built in 1913. 9 years of meticulous restoration went into transforming it into 8 high-ceiling luxury apartments with balconies, including a rooftop spanning 2-floor penthouse with terrace and sweeping views across the White City. Contrary to the historic look of the villa's restored exterior, the refurbished loft-like interiors are underpinned by an industrial aesthetic featuring untreated cement walls, board-formed concrete ceilings, and exposed air ducts. This impeccable example of contemporary restoration with modern finishes and elegant furnishings aimed to speak of the city's celebrated present. Well friends, we just analyzed how a German Bauhaus heritage formed in Israel and the present conservative approach to preserve this legacy. We hope that you now have a clear understanding on the White City and why the German government made donations for the conservation of Tel Aviv. Thanks for watching everyone.